Hello. Hello. So, hey, there we go. How's everybody doing? Glad to see everybody. If it's your first time here, I just want to say welcome. My name is Kurt Blanch. I'm the youth pastor here. You're going to have to put up with me tonight. A few announcements before we get started. If you are a part of the student leader team, we do have the student leader meeting is last Wednesday of this month. We're meeting again at 5:30. Just one issue that I was asked to hit on. We have an issue with people stealing items and running around like crazy wombats. If you've never seen a crazy wombat, they're a little ravenous. It's not pretty. We've had people stealing phones, stealing hats, different items of clothing. Not talking anything inappropriate, but we don't want to get to that point. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to ask that you guys please stop stealing things from other people and running around playing, keep it away. Please stop doing that. One, it's kind of annoying. Two, we have, sometimes my nephew, have you ever seen my nephew? His name's Ari. He's about this tall, and he's almost got run over a few times by people running around with hats going, you can't catch me. So I'm just asking that you please not doing that. Eventually we're going to get to the point where we're going to start considering that theft. So if you think that it's funny, I took your hat, I'm running away with it, then we're going to have to deal with it a little more seriously so that we don't have anybody stealing things for real and be like, no. Just so we don't have that. I'll take questions later. Yes, thank you. It's important. Okay, is it not working? There's no sound. Well, give it a minute and then it'll be there. Because my microphone is a sound. Hi, Dominic, I love you. Okay. Dominic, you're going to like that. If you want to give me a call, my number is 989. No, I'm just kidding. And just so that you guys are aware, I know a few of you were hanging out in the foyer area. This is the reason why we're asking everybody come in here is because we had a larger group out there hanging out last week, and so we had our leaders. Hey guys, listen up. We had our leaders split between two different areas. We had them keeping an eye on here to make sure that you guys are safe. Then we had them split into a group out there, making sure that everybody out there was safe, and we're not going to do that. We don't have enough volunteers to cover two large areas like that. So when service starts, you either come in here. We don't say that you have to come in here, but your options are you can come in here for the service or you can go home for the evening, all right? So we're not having anybody hang out there anymore, and that is the reason why. So I just thank you for not having bad attitudes about that, which is, oddly enough, I'm talking about attitudes tonight. Everybody go. Okay, hold on one second. That was terrifying. I did not say scare the little children in front of you, all right? That was, what is up with this? I'm seeing so many of these pictures online anymore. It's the chin tuck. What's up with the chin tuck? It's like if you want to look. Are you guys seeing this now? It's everywhere you go. Online is. And I know exactly where it started. I know the family. Yeah, don't make eye contact. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But we're talking about attitudes tonight. Attitudes are incredibly important. Attitudes influence every area of our life. And I have something for you guys. Mr. Albright said this. He said, a positive attitude may not solve all your problems, but it will annoy enough people to make it worth it. Can I get an amen? Amen. Don't you just love that? It's like, sometimes the best thing that you can do is when someone is attacking you, coming against you, the best thing that you can do is just have a great attitude. I've done this so many times. When I worked at a video rental store for a few years there, and I used that several times when we were having issues with a customer. I would just have a great attitude no matter what. I'm getting cussed at, they're getting angry, and I just have a good attitude. And it annoyed the crap out of them. I wasn't wrong in this situation. I was keeping myself right. They couldn't stand it. So I'm going to talk to you. And by the way, I'm going to ask that you guys please, don't bother your neighbor. Don't be talking a lot. If I see people that are talking, distracting their neighbors, I'm going to move you. All right? We're streaming live. All right, so you'll be on YouTube being moved because you were too disruptive and couldn't sit on your hands long enough. So we're talking about attitude. So how does attitude affect your life? These are some main areas that attitude affects your life in your relationships. Okay, how many of you have ever had a boyfriend or girlfriend who had a bad attitude? Yeah, it affected your relationship, didn't it? Now, if your boyfriend or girlfriend is next to you, none of this, all right? No nudging, no prodding, saying, this is you. Okay, I don't even know what to say to this, but you guys are, I said if you're nudging your boyfriend or girlfriend, you guys are like, so if you guys, I guess, if you really want to. By the way, my name is Kurt, it's nice to meet you, hi. In your relationship, another area where your attitude is incredibly important is your work. Your job. How many of you have jobs? A few of you. This is the thing a lot of people don't realize about your work. It's more than just doing a task and getting paid. All right? A lot of employers, they're looking for people that not only do their work and get paid, but people that do their work with a good attitude and get paid, because they can use people like that and promote them, to move them forward in their job. And you're like, well, my main promotion is going from deep frying French fries to cooking nuggets. Well, hi, Kermit the Frog here. I know, I sound like Kermit the Frog. Someone asked me if I was Kermit the Frog earlier. I'm not, I'm just distantly related. Education. Yes, everybody loves this, right? Have a good attitude about school. And you're like, I had a friend, by the way, I love this. I had a friend they had such a weak stomach that if you just acted like you were going to throw up, I know some of you look like you're going to throw up. If you acted like you're going to throw up, they would almost throw up. Like they would literally dry heave. And it was the best fun I ever had. Because since it's a dry heave, it's good, clean fun. You know what I'm saying? So you're just like, oh, don't do that. Sorry, I didn't. Sorry, anyways. It affects your relationship, it affects your work, it affects your education. Having a good attitude about your education allows you to get the most out of it. Here's the thing, guys. A lot of you don't think much of education now, but it will come in handy later on. So having a good attitude about it now, because this is just a short section of your life right now in school, unless you're like super senior, then it's going to be several years down the road. But having a good attitude about it while you're in school so you can get the most out of it, so you can make the most out of your life there, it's a good thing. Your attitude affects your self-confidence. I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, I had a self-confidence problem. Anybody? No, here's the thing with self-confidence. I'm asking, do you have self-confidence? This is what I see. If you have a problem with self-confidence, your hand's like, I had a big problem with self-confidence when I was growing up because I had the wrong attitude about my life and about who I was. And also, tying in closely with self-confidence is your self-worth. Those things go hand in hand together, and your attitude, if you struggle with self-confidence and self-worth, if you think that you're a piece of crap, you need to listen very closely tonight. And I'm giving you guys permission right now. If you have an epiphany, if you have something that I say, I know, chances are, not that great, right? But if I say something that just hits you to where you want to say that there are envelopes, there are pens right in front of you, you can take some notes. You need to be bringing notebooks with you so that you can be taking notes while we're talking here. But I'm giving you permission. Now, I'm not giving you permission to use those envelopes to doodle and draw. We find some interesting artwork every single week at the end of the services. Some of you guys are writing some notes to each other and like, oh my God, did you see Shanae the other day? I can't believe, huh? And it's like, I appreciate the soap opera drama that you're trying to bring into this, but please no passing notes. If you see something that's deep and profound, go ahead, write it down if you want to. I just make drawings. You what? I make you drawings. Yeah, you do. You draw me beautiful drawings, and then you make me wait outside in the cold with you for a long time after service. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And also, this will be available online afterwards. We'll have the audio on the website and also on YouTube. You'll be able to find the recording of the service, so you'll be able to go back and watch and listen to the goodness. So, I want to say something at the beginning here. A good attitude does not guarantee your success, but a bad attitude guarantees your failure. Okay, now this is a reminder. Please turn your phones on silent. So, hold on. Someone just sent me a tweet. Okay, Kelly Jackson. She says, hey, I can finally, wait. She said something about I can eat my dinner. Okay, hey, I can finally eat my dinner at a good time instead of 10 at night. Thank you, live stream from church. Oh, that's so nice. Now, Kelly, stop sending me tweets in the middle of service because this is not what it's for. I'm muting you. We're done for now. We're done. You can talk to me later. We're still friends. We're okay. But for now, we're done. Love you too. So, back to this. A good attitude does not guarantee your success, okay? What I'm going to be sharing with you guys tonight does not mean that I'm giving you a golden key of where it's just going to be roses and sunshine for the rest of your life. It's not going to be like that at all, okay? I wish it was. Roses and sunshine sound amazing, all right? But here's the thing. A good attitude does not guarantee that you're going to have a good life. But if you ignore everything that I say tonight, if you tune out, if you zone out, if you're just like, I can't wait for this to be over, this is what's going to happen. Chances are good that you're going to have a bad attitude that guarantees failure. I'm not guaranteeing your success tonight, but I'm saying if you ignore these things, you don't apply these things, and you have a bad attitude, it will guarantee your failure. So as we're getting ready here, if you need a Bible, I know Pat, he's got some Bibles here. So if you need a Bible, raise your hand. We'll get you a Bible so that you can follow along tonight. If you need a Bible that lasts a little bit longer than that, I actually, we're all out of these Bibles, but we do have some other Ignite study Bibles that we can give to you guys. We'll give them to you for free. All I ask is that you actually read them. So, is somebody drew on that one? Can I have... I want that one because it's going to be collector's edition someday. Some of you are going to be famous for your artwork.
I want it.
You want it? Okay, fine. Be that way. Thank you very much. Oh, that's not even any good. Whoever drew this, you should be ashamed of yourself. So, good attitude does not guarantee success, but a bad attitude guarantees failure. The thing I want you guys to realize out of all of this, as we're as we're handing out the Bibles here, I want you guys to understand this concept, okay? Think of a disease. Does anybody have a disease in here right now? Okay. Thank you for being, everybody move away from them. Okay, here's the thing. With most diseases, they are contagious. What is contagious? Everybody listen up. Listen up. Focus. Drawing back to the front of the room. Come on, bring it back here. Diseases are a lot of times contagious. What does that mean? That means that they can be transmitted from one person to the next, right? Say that he has a disgusting flesh-eating disease. He rubs shoulders with Taryn over here. All of a sudden, he has a disgusting flesh-eating disease. Everybody's happy, right? I want you to understand this. Attitudes, listen, attitudes are contagious. Everybody say this with me. Attitudes are contagious. Thank you. So here's the thing. You have a friend that has a very contagious disease. What do? Minimize contact, right? This is the thing. Elijah over there, he has a disease. He spits on the ground, and I go to a random friend of his, and I say, hey, I'll give you $1 to lick his saliva off the ground. Now, the gross thing about this is that this actually happened, but if he had a disease that he knew about, he probably wouldn't do that because it's contagious. Now, attitudes are contagious. You need to understand this. A lot of you have some great friends in your life, but they have terrible, terrible attitudes. Now, what's going to happen is you spend enough time around that person, attitudes are contagious, you're going to catch what they got. I see this week after you guys are like, caught what they got. Here's the thing. If you hang out with people that have good attitudes, you're gonna catch that in your life. You're gonna start having a different perspective. A lot of you struggle with depression. Now here's the thing. Let me offer this to you. Your depression is tied to your attitude about life, and chances are it's because you spend your time around depressed people. You spend your time around people with depressed attitudes. That's what you gravitate towards. That's what you spend. Some of you are talking to me about issues with depression that you have, and so I'm talking to you about, your friends, what you do in life, who you hang around with, and you start bringing your friends to Ignite, and it's like, I know exactly why you have this problem. It's because it's the people that you hang around. And here's the thing. It's the same thing with good attitudes. You hang out with a group of people with good attitudes. I've had a lot of people that have come here, and they're like, you know what? There's just something that Ignite, I don't know what it is. I like it. And I'm like, I know what it is. It's a good attitude. And some people, they've come up to me after the service and they're like, do you ever stop smiling? Yes. And I said I did once, but then I woke up. But that's the thing, is I have to choose to have a good attitude. This was perfect for me because as I'm getting ready for this, I had a terrible attitude yesterday. Awful, awful attitude. I had one of the worst attitudes I've had in a long time yesterday. I'm not going to go into details. Just know I was no fun to be around, and my wife knew it. So it was beautiful because I have this terrible attitude, and I sit down, and I'm just like, I need to work on tomorrow. I need to talk to everybody about attitudes and how important it is. And then God's like, what? So I started listening to some teachings on attitudes, reading some things online, reading in my Bible, and it was great. Just the night and day difference after I got done preparing for tonight, what I'm speaking about, just how my attitude improved so much, just simply focusing on this. And that's the same thing in your life. If you find that you have a terrible attitude that's not that great, then what you need to do is just change the things that you're focusing on. Change the things where your attention is. But I want you guys to understand, attitudes are contagious, so take care who you spend your time with. If you have your Bibles, turn with me to 1 Corinthians 15:33. We're just going to read it here real quick, so if you're not able to find it right away, just write it down in your notes, and then you can find it later. I just want you guys to know that it's actually in the Bible here. So we're going to 1 Corinthians 15:33. It's very short. It's just about one sentence here, and it says, "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." Bad company ruins good morals. In the same concept about where it's talking about bad company will ruin your morals, it's talking the same thing. Bad company is going to ruin your attitude. Because like I said, attitude is tied to everything. It's even tied to your morals. It is tied to every single thing in your life. So do not be deceived. Bad company, another translation says, corrupts good character. The people that you spend time with the most are the ones that are going to dictate what kind of attitude you have. If you're around people that are complaining all the time, that have a bad attitude, that can't see the good side of anything, guess what you're going to be like? Same thing. And here's the thing is you can choose who you spend your time around. You can choose who you're investing your time with and what kind of attitudes they have. But I'm not saying that what you need to do is you need to ditch all your friends, because what we're going to see tonight is attitude works in both directions. But I want you to understand a thing that is an unfortunate truth is that bad attitudes, they spread faster than a good attitude. Have you guys ever noticed that, like with your family, with your friends in school or anything like that? Someone gets a bad attitude and all of a sudden everybody has a bad attitude just because one person was a jerk. A bad attitude, they have a saying where they're talking about, the bad apple in the barrel. You ever heard with that's a bad apple. That's what they're talking about. You have a barrel of apples, you have one bad apple in there and you leave it there, it will contaminate the whole barrel. That's the same thing with a bad attitude. Your friends and your peers, people like to be inspired. So here's what I'm gonna challenge you with. And hey guys, you okay back there? You good? All right. This is you too? Come on, come on. Bad attitudes, they spread faster than good ones, but this is the thing. It does not mean that a good attitude cannot spread. A good attitude, it is possible to influence your friend. What your friends are looking for something to be inspired by. Be inspirational. Be different than the rest of the crowd, because there's so many people that have bad attitudes about everything in life. They can't find the positive in anything. If you want to help your friends, start with a good attitude. Simple as that. Change your attitude. Don't be like the rest of the group and go along and just be drugged down with the rest of them and just sit there and think life is terrible and that you're never going to amount to anything and that nothing good is ever going to happen to you. You can move past that. Have a good attitude. Be inspirational. But with that, with bad attitudes, they spread faster than good ones. Be intentional. Be intentional about your attitude and what you allow your friends to influence you with. Don't allow their bad attitudes to ruin your attitude. But bad attitudes, if they're left alone, they will destroy everything. They must be dealt with. It's with your attitude, it's not some magic thing of where I'm gonna go to bed. Have you ever heard anybody try to say this before? It's like, I'm just gonna sleep for a while, and then everything will magically be okay. Well, I understand that you're probably grumpy, but at that moment when you say, I'm going to go to bed because I have a bad attitude, you're acknowledging that you have a bad attitude and something needs to change. And so you're doing something about it. It's not something that just accidentally happens. It's not something that just magically happens. It's very intentional. That's what I'm saying. With your attitude, be intentional. Bad attitudes will destroy. So they must be dealt with. There's a quote that I have here for you from Thomas Jefferson where he says, "Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude." Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude or woman from achieving his goal. Does anybody have goals or dreams or desires in your life? Do you have things that you want to achieve? Are there things that you want to become in your life? Do you want to have something better in your life than you have now? Every hand should be up or you're sleeping. If you have goals, if you have desires, if you have something in your life that you want to amount to, there is one ingredient that you must have: a good attitude. Then he goes on, he says, nothing on earth will help the man with the wrong mental attitude. Our pastor tells people this when they come in and they say, I need help. He says, I can help anybody if they will let me help them. And what he's saying is, I can help anybody who has a good attitude, saying that I'm willing to put in the effort to be helped. But if someone comes in with a bad attitude, I've had some people, and it's ridiculous how they think sometimes, because they come to me and they're like, I want help, I want to change. All right, well, what are you willing to do? Nothing. Are you being serious? My life sucks. Why should I try? Well, didn't you just say that you wanted things to get better? Yes. Are you willing to work towards it? No. Do you think your attitude's a problem? Of course not. Yours is. And it's like, really? Nothing can help the man with the wrong attitude. Why? They've already decided that they failed. Listen to me on this. When you are reaching for your goals and you have a bad attitude about life, you have already decided that you have failed. You've already cost yourself the success. You've already cost yourself the victory by having a bad attitude. And you will not succeed. If you want to improve, if you want to grow, if you want to move forward, try having a different attitude. Some of you think that your attitudes are justified, that, well, my life's terrible, I have good reason. There are so many stories in here of people who have lives where it should have destroyed them and driven them over the edge, where they should have given up and they didn't. You know, I was watching, how many of you ever watched War of the Worlds? Tom Cruise, you ever watch that one? There was this one scene that stood out to me in that movie and stuck with me. The first time I watched it, it was just like, holy crap. He's down in the basement with this psycho guy, you know, the guy with the shovel. He's not my blood, not my blood. He's down in the basement with the guy before he goes nuts. Well, he probably already was nuts. But he's down in the basement with this guy, and he says, you know what, I worked as a paramedic in the city. And I saw people who survived and people who died. You want to know what the difference is between the people who died on the way to the hospital and people who survived? They kept their eyes open. They kept fighting. They kept looking around. There was a story not too long ago, a few weeks ago, I think it was in Flint or Saginaw, one of the happy cities in Michigan. There was a woman who was getting out of her car after getting home from work, and a couple of men were coming up towards her vehicle there, and she knew that they were up to no good, so she started getting ready, and they pulled a gun, and they shot her 4 times. Now, how many of you would think that that would give you a reason to have a bad attitude at that point? Now, she kind of had a bad attitude, but not necessarily a negative bad attitude, if you guys know what I'm saying. She pulls out a .45, says a few words to these people, and opens fire, empties a clip at them, and these young men actually ended up in the hospital because she shot one of them in both of his legs, and the other one I think she shot him in the torso. But she was shot 4 times before she even got her gun out. Now, she had a choice. She could have had the attitude. They talked about this. They said a lot of people, when they get shot, they shut down because they think they're out of the fight. She got shot 4 times and still fought back. After she shot these guys defending herself, she walked over to her neighbor's porch, applied pressure to her gunshot wounds, and waited for paramedics to arrive. This was a grandma. How many of you would like to have that attitude?
I would like to have that grandma.
I would like to have that grandma too. See, here's the thing. She had a good mental attitude of, these guys are not going to get me. They're not going to take me down. Some of you need to have that same attitude with your life. The hand that you've been dealt, I can agree with a lot of you that it sucks. It's terrible. It's not fair. You've been shot 4 times. In a lot of people's books, that's good enough reason for you to shut down and give up. Let me put this to you. Fight back. It's your life. It's worth fighting for. This is why suicide is so prevalent anymore, is because attitudes are terrible. They're not where they should be. You think that your life is worthless. You think it's not going to amount to anything. If you have the right attitude, people whose marriages should have ended in divorce, someone in that relationship had a good attitude, was able to walk through it, and their marriage stayed together for their kids. People that should have died from these terrible diseases, they should have just given up. There have been people to where the doctors were like, there's no reason why they should have died. But yet they gave up. All about the attitude. There's a story, I'm not sure if it's true or not. I tried to find out if the source was true, but it kind of makes sense. There was a guy who got locked in a freezer, and they found him the next day. He was dead because he had frozen to death. But the freezer wasn't plugged in. He had the attitude of, I'm locked in this freezer and I'm going to freeze to death. So when they found his body, they found signs that he had froze to death. Now, I'm still trying to figure out this story, but I like the story anyways because it kind of puts the point into perspective there. Your attitude matters. Here's the crazy thing about attitudes. People don't like people with bad attitudes, right? If someone has a bad attitude, you're like, get away from me. You're annoying. But here's the thing. People don't like people with bad attitudes, but not even people with bad attitudes really like people with bad attitudes. That's how a lot of people end up alone. Because you end up with a bad attitude, and so you go in with a group of people with bad attitudes, and all of a sudden, you have this kind of loose-knit group right here, but then no one really likes you because everybody has a bad attitude. Not even people with bad attitudes like people with bad attitudes. So how do you spot if you have a bad attitude, or if your friends, if your friends have bad attitudes, don't go and tell them, you have a bad attitude. Because it probably won't help their bad attitude, okay? But these are things that will help you spot a bad attitude, all right? Someone who never admits that they're wrong. Everybody's thinking at least somebody in their life right now. They're never wrong. They can never be wrong about anything. I've been accused of this. I know, it's my personality. It's how I'm wired. I have to very consciously admit when I'm wrong. I have to evaluate and say, okay, I'm wrong. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but I'm just saying. People that never admit that they're wrong. I try to admit that I'm wrong at least once a year just so I can keep up a good attitude. People who fail to forgive. People who hold grudges. If you hold a lot of grudges, okay, let me give you an illustration, okay? Someone stole your milk money when you're in kindergarten, and you still remember. And you're still angry about that. With interest, you owe me a lot of money. Some of you hold on to things for a long, long time. And I'm not even talking about like big things like you came and punched me in the face. It was more of a thing where I sent you a text message 2 years ago and you responded 15 minutes later. And I said, talk to me ASAP. ASAP! And you took 15 minutes. Fails to forgive. Jealousy. People who are jealous. You know the types. They're jealous of things in their own life. They're jealous of other things in other people's lives. The Bible's very clear. One of the 10 commandments, do not covet. Why? Because it keeps you in a better attitude. Another thing, a critical spirit or a critical mentality. People that criticize everything. Does anybody here know anybody like that where just everything is wrong? It's like, it's winter time. It's too cold outside. Now it's, a few days ago. It's too hot outside. Oh, the sun's out. It's too bright. Oh, it's nighttime. It's too dark. And it's like, okay, well, how about this? Oh, well, that's precious, except for this is wrong. It's like their first reaction is to say, this is wrong, this is wrong. Again, as part of my personality, I'm preaching to myself. I can be very critical sometimes, and I have to catch myself. Why? So that I don't end up with a bad attitude. People that are selfish. Everybody's like, yeah. And this ties in with the next one, self-centered. People that are selfish and self-centered, everything's about me, everything should be for me. Very controlling people. Those are people with bad attitudes, and they should be avoided. Now, if you're seeing some of these things in your own life, whether you never admit that you're wrong, you can't forgive people, you're jealous a lot, you cover other people's things, like it's like, I want your Xbox One. You know, I understand that you might want, who said that they suck? Who said, thank you so much. So, you know, you can covet other people's things, but it's not going to lead to a good attitude because that drives distance between you and other people. It could be things where you're too critical, you're selfish, you're self-centered. Those are things that point out saying, guess what? You have a bad attitude. So I'm here to say, you need to change. Everybody raised your hand before when you said, yes, I want things to improve, I want to grow in life, but here you go. You're going to have to change. I know, it's awful. I